How to sharpen your hair cutter blades, or your dog cutter blades, or just any blade in general that looks like these clippers. When you sharpen clippers, a lot of people think you need to go to a professional, and you really don't. This is a really easy process, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, you're going to need a couple stones. You can probably get away with one, but let me show you this stone here. And you notice it's 1,000 by 4,000. Okay? I usually start off with a 1,000. And then you'll notice this one, let me see it focus, is a 3,000 by an 8,000 is what it is. So I do 3,000, then I flip it over and I do 8,000. And you'll notice my stones sit in the water is what they do. Now, this is your blade, and I'm going to need to take this apart, and it's held together with 2 screws. Now, everyone's different. So you're going to unscrew your blade. Now, yours may have hex keys. I mean, all of them are pretty much different. And then there it is. This comes apart, and this is going to come apart in 3 pieces. Some are 2 pieces. And just pay attention to how it's coming apart, okay? We've got this here, and we've got this connection here. And it's got a little piece in there too. And this one really doesn't really need to come apart in pieces. You can just set this one aside. These are the 2 blades that require sharpening. And I know this because this one's got a lip there, as you can see. And this is where we're sharpening is right here. So notice I flipped it upside down. And literally you're going to set it on there. You know, make sure it's got some water on it. And all you're going to do is go back and forth with it, keeping it level. That's all you're doing, and we're doing it on the 1,000 grit right now. And this doesn't take no 3 hours or anything like that. It really doesn't take that long. And a lot of it you can go by sound. You know, you can hear how bad it is and how bad it sounds. So I'm going to set this one there. And then we've got this one. And again, we're going flat. You know, I'll put some water up there. And you're just going back and forth. This one doesn't sound too much. It's not taking off too much, so this one's pretty good. And you want to use the whole brick. This way it keeps the brick nice and flat as you use it over time. And there's no rhyme to reason to this. You'll notice when you do this a couple times that you're going to see what the difference is. So there we go. Nice and shiny, right? So this one's done, and that's a 1,000 by 4,000. I did it on the 1,000. Then I'm going to pull this one out, and we're going to jump to the 3,000. Now I could go 1,000, 3,000, 4,000, and 8,000, but I don't do that because it really doesn't need to go that long. So then I take the other one again, and we take off a little bit more. And you don't need to do these as long. You really don't. So when you're sharpening your clipper blades, I was sticking there a little bit, so you want to add some more water so it slides pretty good. And I'm not really putting a lot of pressure. I mean, I'm really just using the weight of my hands on top of the clippers here, on the blades. Now you'll see some real fancy sharpeners out there. They got these big disc wheels that spin around and around. They cost $1,000. I mean, you don't really need that. You're not doing things in sharpening, 400 clippers a day. You only need a couple stones. That's about it. That's all you need. And then I'm going to take this stone and we're going to go right down to the 8,000 now, which is a really fine grit. Okay? Really fine. So this is where we're getting really, really sharp. I don't hear much noise, so I like that. And you don't need to do the 8,000 very long. This one's got a little bit more noise. So now that you got them all sharpened, we can rinse them off. And one thing you want to do is take any burrs off. And I'll put this aside for a moment. And I'm using like a wire brush here. You can get the wire brushes that look like a toothbrush. You might find that more comfortable to use. But all I'm really doing is running the wire brush across it to pull off any burrs on it. That's all I'm doing. So any little pieces of metal you can't see. And that's it. Believe it or not, we are all sharpened. So now, you just have to go ahead and put this back together, and you're going to be off and running again. And that's the nice thing about this. And pay attention to when you took it apart. Now, with this one here, I started the screws first to get them in there. And the white plastic thing is what's near the top. And again, I want this side to be with this side, right? So the two shiny sides are going to come together. That's actually going to sit, that plastic thing is going to sit right on there when I put this together. Now, if you're not sure about this, okay, take a picture of it before you take it apart. And then you will know that you did it right. Okay, we're looking good. Now I put these screws nice and tight. And they don't got to be reefed down with all your weight. They just got to be snug. And there we go. We're back together. Everything looks good. Pop it inside your cutter. And that's one blade that is basically sharpened and ready to go. Now normally you need to do this like once every 3 months, especially if you're cutting dogs, people hair. I don't care if you've got a real expensive set of cutters or if you've got a cheap DeWalt cutter like from Walmart for 20 bucks. If I bought a cheap one for 20 bucks, I would probably sharpen them right away because I'm sure they're not very well sharpened when they put them in the box. The only differences between the cheap ones and the more expensive ones is you don't have to sharpen them as often. I can get away with sharpening these because this is an expensive set that we use to cut our dogs. And I mean, I can get away with sharpening it maybe once a year, sometimes twice a year. I've noticed with the cheaper cutters, like one that I trim with my beard or whatever, I'm usually doing that one once every 3 months. So that is how you sharpen your cutters, and it's really easy. I'll have the links in the bottom to these two bricks. I'll even have a link to this wire brush if you want this one. But I'll also have one that I think would probably be better. It's more like a toothbrush. I'll have a link to that one. And all you do is put these bricks in a little bit of water for a half an hour. Let them soak up the water. And then go to town sharpening your hair cutting blades. All right. Catch you guys on the next one.